Lesson 2.1.2 is about writing equations of lines using another form which is known as slope-intercept form. All right, so here are our four goals for this lesson. First, we need to be able to change the equation from point slope to slope-intercept. All right, we're going to focus on that first. All right, then we have the same kind of three tasks that we had in the last lesson, which is when you're given a point and the slope, or you're given 2 points, or you're given a graph, can you now write the equation of the line in this new thing that is called slope-intercept form of a line? All right, so what is slope-intercept form? Slope-intercept form is this equation. Again, memorize this. All right, this is the equation y equals mx plus b. All right, so we need to memorize that. The m is our slope. The b is our y-intercept. Okay? All right, so let's look at the first task. The first task says, can you take something that is written in point-slope form and change it to slope-intercept form? To do this, it takes, I wrote 3 steps. It's really 2 steps. All right? Step 1 is distribute. Step 2 is to solve for y, or get y by itself. All right? And that's going to involve either adding or subtracting the piece that's over by the y. So let's try a couple of these. First thing, distribute the 2. So I'm going to have y minus 10 is equal to 2x minus 16. Now I need to get y by itself, which means I need to add 10 to both sides. And I get y is equal to 2x minus 6. This is the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. All right, let's try this next one. It's got a fraction, no worries. All right, I've got y plus 4, distribute, gives me 2/3 x plus 2/3 times 7 is 14/3. Okay, so now I need to subtract this 4, but I'm thinking ahead. I know that another way to write 4 is 12 over 3. I want to write that on the right side because I already have a fraction over there. So I'm going to say minus, instead of 4, 12/3. This leaves me with y equals 2/3 x plus 14/3 minus 12/3 is 2/3. Okay? Let's take a look at another one involving the fractions. All right, so here we go. We've got y plus 2 equals, distribute, 1/6 x minus 4/6. Now, I can simplify 4/6. I don't have to. We focus on getting y by itself for the second step. So that means I need to subtract 2. But I have 4/6. I'm going to write 2 as 12/6. So I have to subtract 12/6. Okay? That gets me y by itself, 1/6 x. Now this would be minus 16/6. 16/6 I can simplify, therefore I must. Y is equal to 1/6 x, and I know that 2 goes into both 16 and 6, so this would be minus 8/3. This equation is now in slope-intercept form and simplified. All right, let's try one more of these. I have to distribute the negative 3/4. So I have y plus 6 equals negative 3/4 x minus 3/4 times 8 is negative 24. That's how I got the minus, 24/4. Again, I could simplify it. I'm not going to worry about simplifying until I have slope-intercept. I'm going to subtract 6. Now 6 is 24/4. So I'm going to subtract 24/4. So it might have actually been a pretty good idea to go ahead and have simplified that before. No worries though, we're still okay. I have y equals negative 3/4 x minus 48/4. Now 48/4 can definitely be simplified. And I get y equals negative 3/4 x minus 12. Okay? All right, so goal number 2 is, can you write an equation in slope-intercept form if I'm given a point and the slope. All right, so here's how I do this. Identify the point and the slope. We're going to plug it into point slope form, what we worked on last lesson. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And then we're going to change it from this form, takes 2 steps, change it from this form to slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Okay? All right, so let's start off here. First thing I know is point slope form tells me I have y minus negative 3, so y plus 3 equals negative 1 times x minus negative 6, or x plus 6. All right, that was the first lesson. Now for this lesson, we distribute and move the 3 over. So I've got y plus 3 equals negative 1x minus 6. Make sure you distribute. Subtract the 3. And I have y equals negative 1x minus 9. Okay? Let's try another one. First, identify the point and the slope. Plug it into point slope. So I have y minus 11 equals 4/3 times x minus negative 2, so that should be x plus 2. Distribute. Y minus 11 equals 4/3 x plus 8/3. Move the 11. Add 11. Well, 11 is really 33/3. So I now have y equals 4/3 x plus 8 plus 33 is 41/3. Now, can I simplify 41/3? I don't think so. Then we're finished. Okay? Scenario number 3. Write the equation given 2 points. All right, so now I need to find the slope. I need to identify 1 point. Remember, I always like the first point. It doesn't matter, though. You can use any point, plug it into point slope, simplify to slope-intercept. All right, so this is a little bit more of a process. The first thing I got to do is find the slope. Change in y over change in x. Negative 2 minus 3 over 9 minus 4 leaves me with negative 5 over 5, which is a slope of negative 1. So I have a slope of negative 1, and I like to always pick that first point, 9, negative 2. Plug that into point slope. Y minus negative 2 would be y plus 2 equals the slope times x minus 9. Distribute. Y plus 2 equals negative 1x plus 9. Subtract the 2 to get y by itself. Y equals negative 1x plus 7. Again, pretty straightforward stuff here. All right? Next point, let's try this again. Find the slope first. So that's going to be the change in y over the change in x, which would be 4 over negative 3, or a slope of negative 4/3. I'm going to use that slope, negative 4/3, and I'm going to use the first point, 6, 4. Plug it into point slope. Y minus 4 equals negative 4/3 times x minus 6. 2 steps. Distribute. Y minus 4 equals negative 4/3 x plus 24/3. Now, I know that 24/3 is 8. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and simplify. Y minus 4 equals negative 4/3 x plus 8. But I still don't have y by itself. I got to add 4 to both sides. Y equals negative 4/3 x plus 12. All right. Okay, so the last type that we got to be able to do, the fourth goal of today is, can you do it given a graph? All right, so we want to identify the slope and identify the point, plug it into point slope, simplify the slope intercept. Okay, so let's get through this. Ready? I'm going to pick this point and this point. Okay, I know that my slope is rise over run, so I'm going to go up 2 over 1, which is a slope of 2. I know it has to pass through one of the points. I'm going to pick this one. That's located at -2, -3. I plug this into point slope. Y minus -3, which is y plus 3, equals 2 times x minus -2, which would be plus 2. Distribute y plus 3 equals 2x plus 4. Get y by itself. Y equals 2x plus 1. Now if I notice, remember we called this 1 right here. We call that the y-intercept. Does this line go through the y-axis at 1? And if you look, yeah, it does. So my equation actually makes sense. It's got a slope of 2, a y-intercept of 1. It makes sense. All right, so let's try this one. I'm going to pick this point and this point. All right, so to calculate my slope, I know it's going downhill. I got to go down 1, and then I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across, which gives me a slope of -1/5. All right, I'm going to use the point over here on the left. Again, I can use any point, but this point is located at -5, -2. I have y minus -2, which would be y plus 2, equals -1/5 times x minus -5, which would be x plus 5. Distribute y plus 2 equals -1/5 x minus, because I have -1/5 times positive 5, -5 over 5. -5 over 5 is really -1. So I'm going to simplify that. Y plus 2 equals -1/5 x minus 1. Okay. I'm going to subtract 2. And that leaves me with y equals -1/5 x minus 3. And that is the equation of this line in slope-intercept form. All right, so what I would like you to do now is get working on that worksheet 2.1.2. Good luck.